Superintendent's Advisory Councils.
Curriculum Advisory Council met on May 13th. That was Ms. Haruska and Dr. Keene. I asked them to participate in my advisory council. We reviewed two proposals. One was the English curriculum changes that we discussed with the board in April, and the other one was a new fine arts course. That's actually a course change. We still have some work based on my summary of the meeting with the advisory council and with the department chairs and the principal and assistant principal. I think there's still some work that needs to be looked at in regards to English, and they'll be back probably in July to rediscuss it with the board. In regards to fine arts, the course change request, Ms. Morelli can update you on that. It's also a little later in the agenda under curriculum proposals under new business. But similar to like we did with art, or Mr. Ostra, I'd asked that we have any questions on the curriculum proposal. We propose them now to Ms. Morelli. Diane, if you could help me, I'm flipping through the agenda here.
It's a world percussion class.
And it's replacing?
Beginning instrumental music.
And when is the last time instrumental music ran?
At least 8 years ago.
Okay, so this course would be replacing a course that ran close to 8 years ago.
Yes.
Does it have any impact on current students?
I think a positive impact. I think it would reach a different set of students than...
Correct, but we're not canceling something.
No.
So there's
No.
no negative impact on any current students?
No, absolutely not.
Is there any impact on graduation requirements or state requirements?
No. It would fulfill the fine arts waiver, fine arts survey waiver.
And we have the instruments and the...
We have enough
to
instruments.
support it budget-wise?
We have enough instruments to handle 30 students or more.
And the impact on district goals, it would just be overall the positive impact on academics and
Yes.
participation,
Mhm.
building interest for the fine arts and music.
Yes.
These were the same questions I asked Diane in front of the advisory council, and that's why we thought this one would be a rather simple one to bring forward, because it would just be something that we'd add to the course catalog next October, and if enough students pick it, it could run in place of instrumental music.
Any other questions?
Yeah, the only thing is, can any music teacher teach this course?
Pardon me?
Is it any certified music teacher able to teach this
Yes,
course then?
both James and I would be certified to teach the course.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Diane. Be
I
careful.
have
Don't-
a comment.
All right, you have a comment, all right. Okay.
It was a good presentation that Laura and I were helping Kevin at the meeting. Just one thing I want to add is if we okay this, I think we should routinely have the progress report after 1 year to see how things go. Routine, I don't know if we have to put that in our policy, but generally it's just good practice, I guess, huh, Kevin? To see if we make these changes and what happens.
Right.
It just
I
doesn't.
mean, if it doesn't get enough kids for the next 2 years running. I mean,
Well,
right.
you'll flag it.
Right.
Okay.
If you and Mr. Baum are the only two that can teach it, and you're both full-time teachers now, if we do run this class, what class would you not be teaching?
I don't know. I don't.
So we teach the beginning instrumental music is being taught now?
No.
Oh,
No.
It is not.
I think one way to look at it, though, right now is we have a .1. Remember, we had Mr. Baum, Ms. Morelli, and Mr. McGolgan. Mr. McGolgan's not returning next year. So, I mean, we let the student interest and participation drive the staffing. So an increase in this might be a decrease in something else. If it, like Dr. Keene cited, that if this course is driving that much interest and we see an increase in staffing in the music department by a .2 every year, that's something we'd have to keep an eye on.
Maybe my question was badly worded. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Diane. Be safe going home.
Thank you.
I have a question on curriculum, but not what you covered so far.
Okay. All right, next one is the Facilities Advisory Council.
And re-
So I still get to ask my question on curriculum.
Okay. Which question?
We discussed AP Economics and not meeting the requirements, and I very distinctly remember asking the question if we were going to allow the seniors to graduate, which I read in the paper we did. But I also asked, what about the kids who already took the class with the understanding they were done? And again, I take what I read in the paper with a grain of salt, but I read in the paper that they have to take some kind of online course now that is slightly different than what I think was reported at that time, that the kids who took the 2 APs already, like a lot of sophomores have, a lot of juniors, that they would not have to take an additional course.
When Pam and I went through and reviewed this, our concern was that the seniors had already met what they understood to meet, and with the short time notice of the change, it would not be changed by graduation. What we wanted to look at, though, was knowing that we had other students that hadn't gotten the 9 weeks and still were returning, and not pushing that envelope with the state requirement. We looked at it, we found an alternative method where they can take not a full online course, but just make up the units that they missed. So an example of a student that took micro and macro, they might have to make up 2 units, which might be a total of maybe an hour online free of no charge to cover the additional curriculum they did not get.
So they'll be told, come and
Right,
study
yeah,
hall,
I have a
whatever.
chart that identifies which units kids in different scenarios would have to take.
Okay.
And so we'll be getting in touch with them and giving them a password to log on. They can do it at their leisure. They can do it at home over the summer. They can get on. It's online, easy access. We already piloted this curriculum in the building, and it was very effective with the kids, very popular. And then we can get on and see who's completed it and what percentage they have a pass rate on that module. And so it'll be, very manageable. So, some students, they'll have 4 modules to do if they just took AP Micro, 4 modules to do if they had just AP Macro, but if they took both, as Kevin said, there's just 2 modules to do.
So in particular for the incoming seniors, they'd be notified early on?
Yeah,
They
they've
were already
received
they were
a
already
letter.
called down.
Yeah, they've already received a letter. Every student was given a letter, and then one was mailed home to the parents as well, explaining which scenario. So there were different versions of the letter based on what scenario that child found themselves in. But what we didn't tell them yet is exactly the password, how much time the modules are expected to take, 30 to 40 minutes. But these students are very savvy, and I think that it's not going to be difficult for them to complete, and they have, a lot of time that they could get it done in at their convenience.
Did you notify the next year's junior and seniors then?
We notified sophomores, juniors, and anybody that's
And
taken any.
everybody got a
Right.
letter.
My thought on that was, this is one of those decisions as a superintendent might not be, as a superintendent, this is one of those decisions might not be popular, but it's the right one to make. Knowing that we have maybe 2 or 3 class worth of students that need to get caught up, I don't think the state's gonna smile on them continuing to do that, so that's why we made that
And I
change.
think we got to commend staff for coming up with an innovative solution. All right,
Can I have another curriculum?
sure, you can have another curriculum.
Tim had made this point before, and I didn't really appreciate it until I listened to my daughters talking. This is about the top 10. It seemed to have been band heavy, and the fact that, people in band sort of had a competitive advantage because they didn't have to take PE. I guess my concern is if that is true, and I'm not saying it is, and I love the band, and I love people who take all the AP and stuff, but this gets back to making stuff, we're not going to make it effective until, the incoming class. I mean, is that really a potential problem? Because, I really support this top 10 thing, and it's a great honor, and it makes everyone compete, but if there's still some kind of weird advantage, even for 2 more years, I think we should look at getting rid of that, because it's not fair.
I thought with the PE waiver, we implemented that
Immediately, or-
immediately.
If you could please just look into that, because I think you hear talk about that in the community, and
I thought with the
I want
P,
total fairness with this academic achievement. And I know, Tim, you brought this up, and I wasn't aware of it, and I
with the
commend you
P,
for
with the
that.
PE waiver that we passed last, I want to say it was either last year or this past fall, we implemented it immediately because they could waive a semester that they were marching. And remember, that's when the tuba player blew in my window because they were upset with my decision, but.
Well, could be band members are just, you know,
Right.
fine arts make people smarter, and that's great. But,
Right, but
let's
the
just
only,
make
the only way to
sure
waive
there's-
P is if you're in marching
There's
band.
no weird competitive advantage that people are, you know, gaming the system.
Well,
Okay,
there is still an advantage. It's
Okay,
just
then.
not as great as it was before. I think there's a, without, and we're not really answering this question, because as I pointed out, and I like to use her, although she's my daughter's friend, Claire Balno, who runs cross-country and track, is probably as good a shape as anybody in the building, but cannot waive gym, because she's got to go into gym the day after cross-country, and she has to go into, stay in gym until track starts. A band member gets to waive the whole semester for 4 years. And they don't, and the football players, by the way, as I pointed out, you know, our star football players, the day after the football season's over, they have to go into gym, and the band who was playing for them at the football games don't have to go into gym. So there's still it's not as great as it was, but there still is a competitive advantage for band members if you're, on John's point of the top 10 students.
okay. Any other comments? Can we move on to facilities?